Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Blueprint Podcast. Real people, real stories. Chasing dreams, overcoming obstacles. Come get inspired and take action. I know you ready. Let's go.
All right. Episode 25 of the Entrepreneurial Blueprint. We are pleased to have Jeremy Simpson with Simpson Roofing Co. out of New Jersey. How you doing, Jeremy?
Solid as could be. Happy to be here with you, Lester.
Appreciate you, brother. And it looks like you're probably on the road because you're a road warrior.
I am. Today was a heavy road day, and just ended. I like ending it with a nice little conversation with another blue collar hustle out there. So it's good. Love it.
Yeah. And just for the audience too, we'll set the tone a little bit. We met all not that long ago on a flight. We actually shared an armrest.
Yeah.
And that was coming back from RoofCon that was down in Florida, and we happened to have the same shirt on, and we started conversation and just realized we're chasing the same mission essentially.
Yes. It was a destiny of sorts, a fate, if you will.
That's right. That's right.
To connect.
And now we're here, so I love it. But just get this thing kicked off a little bit. Why don't you enlighten the audience on who you are, where you came from, how the business started, where it's at, all that good stuff.
So I got a big story, long story. We'll keep it really short. I'm a family-owned business company. We're like 3 generations deep. We're from New Jersey. Family built, Jersey strong is our slogan there. And we commercially are really, that's where our bread and butter is. But I have since developed a residential division. Been in roofing my whole life since teenage years, probably even earlier. If I could remember that earlier, from Dad just throwing me up on the roof or on the garbage pile or whatever it was to stay busy. And now I've just have continued that Simpson brand, and here we are on generation 3, and I hope to keep on going.
That's right. I do love it. So walk us through that. You're fully commercial or property maintenance. I thought I saw in there something like that too. What's going on with that?
So what we do in our roofing world is I've been able to really divide it up now between the commercial, the maintenance, and residential. So we do all three separately with different crews, different people, some carryovers in management, but we do commercial installs heavily. It's what I was brought up on. So my father did and my uncle did for all those years. They didn't do almost any residential unless it was like for one of the commercial peoples on the job site. A lot of property maintenance, a lot of upkeep and maintenance programs on commercial buildings, retails, things like that. The residential is a little new. We do it. Actually, that's where he cut me in at, my dad, because he didn't do residential and he figured I couldn't get in trouble going and selling some shingles, and didn't quite have the wings and the bones yet to go do the commercial management and sales because I was too young. So he started me there, and that's what I I guess always went back to, because I'm a people person. I like to sit at the kitchen table and talk to people and get connected. So yeah, we have all three divisions pretty detailed on their own right.
Very good. Obviously 3rd generation, you've been involved, so you must have seen a lot of the evolution and how companies and businesses are being run in the home improvement space. When did you really take that? When did the business go from a pen and paper process to starting to implement the latest and greatest, newest technologies? And what was that experience, and how long did that take to really get comfortable in your eyes?
Well, I'll be vulnerable as hell with you right now. It's still happening now. I was so old school trained that I didn't really know that it wasn't the best practice until a little bit late, like a bunch of crashes and fails to pick myself back up and see how these things were going. And then I saw, damn, this is this business over here has been they just opened the doors, but they're using technology and they're flying. I'm like, I've been here for 3 gens. Like, how, I just started to watch and open my eyes. I took myself off the roof and more into the business. So it's been real recent. The last couple of years really has been it. And it's ironically, it's the second I took myself off the roof and went in the office and really picked up different hats and let go of production hats a little bit with partner and getting myself more honed in to grow in the business, that I didn't get that growing up. As much as I love mom and dad and all the generations, they were just nose down and go, get shit done
Right.
mentality.
Right.
And I didn't have the skill set to then, look at tech, look at processes, look at, business culture. It was just go. So it's been real recent, and it's been so recent, and the change has happened kind of quickly because I did have the experience behind me that maybe new guys in tech and in the industry might not have. So I was really able to marry it kind of quickly, and I saw results right away. As soon as I started having CRMs in place, as soon as I started having processes in place where it wasn't just at the head of the ship yelling on which direction to turn, it really, I saw value in it immediately.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I mean, I've heard thousands of these stories with these transformations. I mean, that was the way people grew businesses back in the day, was nose down. But with technology and just the phone in general, Steve Jobs changed the whole world. So, it's really starting to work its way into the home improvement space. But it's not because even we need it as businesses, but just how we communicate with our homeowners and giving them the experience that they want to make a decision. You have to have these tools. When someone comes to your house with a pen and a piece of paper, they're like, oh, hey, no, like there's got to be a better way, right? So yeah, like what piece of advice would you give someone today, putting yourself in your shoes before you took that leap, that's in that same spot where they're a little more old school and not really entrusted in software as much?
The advice is like kind of know which direction you want to go to, like have that 10-year plan, 5-year plan, whatever that long stretch is. It's not going to happen in 6 months to a year. If you have a long stretch, like my plan changed. I saw my father getting older and not being able to live out his best life, to be honest with you, at the end of his, hanging out with the grandkids, just not being able to do it. I did not want that for me. So I needed to change and move. So it was my 10-year plan that ended up really changing my mindset of how to approach the business. So if you have that in a little bit of a focus, that's my biggest advice, is to get that future plan, not tomorrow, not next year, like take a big jump and step. And a lot of my colleagues, they're super comfortable still managing being on the roof because they want to stay small. Sometimes it's not growth that they want. Sometimes it's just a little, maybe lifestyle change, being able to do certain things. And then others want the big growth. And I'm like, well, they haven't roofed ever. They're the ones that are just really honed in on marketing, on software, on tech, on all those things, and they're succeeding. So it's really whatever path that you feel is what you want to do. Don't look at over the fence at what somebody else is doing.
Sure.
Just pick your path, and then
Yeah,
there's always a way.
I love that. So no, I love that. That's great. And what strategies really kind of help you grow and are helping you scale today?
By almost exactly that, I took myself, I relieved myself of some of the responsibility that I felt like it's all me. I got to do it. I have to be a part of everything. I have to be all the decisions. I have to. Now I still talk and I still make sure that we're still a small business, but the growth happened because I took a lot of the hats off. I started to delegate out certain things that I'm bad at. Quite frankly, I'm not the greatest administrative keeper, so you hire somebody for that. I'm not the greatest accountant, so we hire somebody for that. I'm not the greatest tech person, so we seek out somebody that can help us with tech. So that was it. Just kind of relieving myself of what I thought I was good at. Even in production, I'm a roofer. I found somebody that was better at roofing than me, and he's the production guy partner in the field. So it's really that. It's just kind of like honing in on what my skill was, which is communication, talk. I like to be able to present my business. I like to be able to share my story. And I can't do that if I'm stuck in an accounting book, or if I'm answering a phone, or if I'm, trying to finish a roof off before a storm. It just doesn't better the business that way. So it's that.
You got that. You got that right. And what I've noticed about you, your brand, and what you're really delivering to homeowners, to the industry, is the way you market yourself and how you're going about that through social media. It really gives off confidence that you understand where the industry's at today, and you have the best products, the best services, and you're really trying to give the best overall experience to your customer. Like, I think you're networking now. You're probably in Atlantic City, right? and
Networking.
you do all this networking. So talk to us about, the successes that you found in networking and getting yourself involved in these circles that really start to help you lift the business up a little bit.
I really didn't know networking was like a almost a skill set. I just happen to be pretty good in the room. I can communicate. I can kind of see who's what. When I try to engage in conversations, don't stay in the corner. That isn't for everybody. That's kind of the skill set. So a little bit of advice, if you're maybe shy, you're not very well spoken, but you're great, at something else, get somebody in your business that can go to these events, that can have the conversations. You never know. Look at, we're only here today because we had and sparked a conversation. I would have never known if I was a silent, just head down, took a nap. This would have never happened. I wouldn't have experienced the relationship with you, known what you're about. You wouldn't have known what I'm about, and it all sparked on a conversation. Everything in these events and these networking events, rather, they're all in a conversation. It's all people. It's just it's a people game of communication, building some trust, building a relationship, and you never know what it'll take you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I hear it time after time. I speak to a lot of contractors like, I don't want to go to these events or these networking things, guys just want to drink and have fun and just party. And I'm not really into that. I'm into business. I'm like, dude, you have it all wrong. Well, you don't have it all wrong, but you're looking at it you're looking at it for all the things in a negative light. Look at all the things in a positive light that come out of these networking events, and just show up and keep showing up to get one or two nuggets to bring back into your business. That's a win. Right.
Yeah. And it doesn't always have to be ownership. It could be one of the salespeople. Just empower somebody to stay and keep your brand out there at these events. Keep the name of your company out there at these events. Just show up. Sometimes it's literally just that. I'm really gaining no new relationships. It's just maintaining my existing ones most times. Right. So, that's why we're still here in the conversation in the roofing industry 3 generations later. So it's doing something.
Yep, I agree, man. All right, well, let's talk about it. Private equity's coming in. They're buying all the big boys up. These big conglomerates are coming together. What are you feeling?
I'm not too educated on that. Like, I hear the chatter. I'm at the the water cooler listening to it. I'm just underneath that radar of being I don't want to say affected, because I'm definitely affected by that, because they're everywhere. But I'm kind of torn. I like the concept of somebody coming in and helping and bolster up a company that might have a good rep in an area, or just has a good bones to them, and just decided to take that leap and go in that direction. But then I'm also torn, because I see that part of conversation where there's manipulation in the industry. There's not full truths being told. Where do we unpack it? I would love to see that kind of conversation be a little bit more transparent. I know there's some really good guys out there in PE that really are there to help and were in the industry and just really massaging that transition for people really well. And then there's others where I see them 6 months later, they're gone. A year later, gone.
Yeah.
So
it's wild. It's wild. It's new, so everyone's curious to see what's going to happen. Everyone does understand that private equity does eventually leave. So what does it look like then? Right? They're not there for the long haul. They're there to build up, make a return, and see you later. So it's kind of tough to pick the right people and trust that what's being said is what's going to be carried out at the end of the road, and then it has your best interest at heart. So a lot of guys are talking about it, a lot of speculation. There's some bad stories, there's some good stories, but I do think it's around our industry for the time being. Every industry consolidates. We've seen it, HVAC and plumbing, and it doesn't matter, any industry. I think, home improvements, roofing specifically, possibly is next. So we just got to make sure we're taking all the proper precautions to get to where we need to go and find our, where we fit in the puzzle, at the end of the day. So
Yeah, and it goes back to that. It goes back to that plan. You know, what's your plan? What do you want to do? If you want to build something up that's shiny to be, sellable, great.
yep.
If not, great. It's
Yeah.
all about, it's in your plan. Don't worry about what the neighbor's doing. You do you.
So let's talk about this. Is it legacy? For you, I would have to imagine you want to go fourth generation or what?
No, not at all. I was never pressured in anything in my life with work or anything like that. That kind of just happened. In fact, I was probably pushed in the other direction. It just ended up, falling this way. One of those things where, college didn't work out. Dad's like, well, you ain't sitting in the basement doing nothing. Get to work. And it just sparked, and I liked it. It started something, and it just took off in that regard. I got a bunch of boys under my belts right now, kids that I won't ever push that in that direction. That's
Okay.
it's not in my, if that's the way they thought and they want to go and they had a skill set for it or a desire, sure. But make sure you got some experience. I'll give them the field experience with us, but never, not legacy. No, not really. Not unless it happened that way in a natural way. I'm super comfortable just riding into the sunset after this one's all said and done. Maybe somebody buys me up later on, who knows? But
Yeah.
no, I have no legacy thoughts. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna throw this out there with all them boys. I'm sure they're gonna watch what you're doing, and it's gonna rub off on them a little bit, as I'm sure it rubbed off on you. So I appreciate that, but it probably will happen that way. We'll see what happens.
I can see it. I can see it. If I was to peel back the onion in a little bit, I got there two teens and two little guys. They're little guys, but the teens, you could see it's a kids like what they're good at, what they might be, excel in. And I'm like, this one looks like it's going to be a worker. This one looks like it's going to be an academic. Man, do I have an engineer and architect that I could, have that little spin off on the firm?
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't thinking about that part, so who knows?
Right.
We'll see.
No, yeah, who knows? We can't predict the future, but one thing I will say, I got a guy in New Jersey I'm pretty close with, Double D Constructions out of Piscataway. Runs a really good business. He's coming towards the end of the road himself. He's looking to fly into the sunset a little bit. I think he thought he was going to sell the business. He's got two boys. One went to Monmouth University, just graduated, and all of a sudden now he's starting to show some interest in the business. And I see this passion being passed on now to little Dennis, and it's actually pretty cool because Big Dennis didn't think any of his boys would want to do that, and he didn't know if he wanted them in that business. He wants them to go off to college and do other things. But I mean, he's one of the hardest working guys that I know, so it's kind of tough. His boys have to see him experience all the success and working so hard, where that's got to rub off on you a little bit. So I know I hear you. I'm sure you got the right game plan. Just keep driving that thing up and just let the future take its course.
Of course.
Oh yeah. So how do you personally define success as a business owner?
It's another thing I'll be vulnerable about again and say, like, my definition recently changed, right? As you talk about the kids growing up, and I'm looking all the things, right? The things, you get a little FOMO about the things. And I thought it was like that. Success had to be measured in a monetary way when I was younger, right? My measurement of success now is completely changed in the sense of it's more about time. It's more about what I can now do with my business that has freed up my time. It's not giant bills. It's being able to be successful and take my kids to school in the morning, be there at the end of the day for dinner. I can remember my dad not being there in the morning. No, nothing for him, but he was gone before I was awake, and I was home before he was. So that is that measure of success for me that I didn't think I wanted until like now. I'm older, I'm a father, and these things matter now. Spending time with the missus, doing these networking events, anything that is allowing me more time to talk about my story, to talk about my business, to talk about my family, to talk about things like that, and not be just enveloped in the business. Money's great, but if I can't enjoy the time that it's created, it's doing nothing for me.
I love it. Yeah, no, I love it. That it makes a ton of sense. Very good, very good. What else? What else? How do you celebrate your milestones or big victories as you're scaling your business? Like, what are some
I I
things that you have in
I
place
don't.
for you don't?
I probably got to work at that. I've always been kind of people. I've had a couple of different business partners in my career growing up, and this one guy I'll never forget. He was trying to like understand me a little bit more, and he never quite got it. But he always used to say, "Man, why are you always walking around with that too cool for school attitude? Why are you always like cool as a cucumber, no matter what's happening?" I'm like, I don't care if I won the lottery or if I have to deal with a claim on a roof that might have had something happen to it. Like, it's all moving forward. If I get stuck in the victories, I might misstep, and next thing you know, I'll have a loss. Like, I try to just keep a very level head and go. A bunch of crappy stuff has happened in the past, and it's kind of maybe seasoned me to not be so up and down on the victories and the losses. So I kind of stay that little static quo. People have been said to me, Jeremy, you should really, like, man, you did good. I'm like, really? Did I? I don't know. Thank you. But I probably should start to celebrate a little bit more because it's been noted. It's been noticed. I'm out there now.
Yeah.
People are starting to say, like, damn, Jerry, how are you doing that? Sons of other businesses where, like you just said, like sons are starting to kind of creep up. They're
Yep.
coming to me. Hey, you were your father, right? Yeah. How did you do it? Well, here it is. And I give them a little breakdown. I said, don't try to change your dad. It ain't happening. Just better yourself and just
That's
stay in the cut. Keep pushing.
right.
But that's it. No real celebration. Maybe one day.
Yeah, little celebration. Don't have to be big things, but I think we all need these reminders. We work so goddamn hard, right? So when you get those big wins, I think it's important to celebrate them just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a whole big hoorah, hoorah, but as long as you keep checking yourself and you understand that you are making those that progress, if you will. So, but I understand it. A lot of guys are like that. It's tough, right?
Yeah. This one group that I'm in, though, they have helped me with that to be able to celebrate the wins, even the little ones. Because I might have had a win. Oh, we just closed the contract. Oh, great. To me, we just closed the contract. But if I had said that contract and what it was and where it was, I might inspire somebody else by mentioning that in the group. I'm like, wow, Jeremy just closed that. Wow, that's amazing. I can't wait to get there. And I'm now able to say that in this group and talk about it, and then me the same, hearing somebody else do massive moves, and I'm like, you know what? I think that's great. Let me get there. So the documenting of the small wins and just verbalizing them even has helped me in this stage of business and life. So I will start doing it more.
Yeah, very good, very good. What's your thoughts on all of the, again, we're gonna go back to PE, but you see big moves like Home Depot purchasing SRS. Now you got QXO that just purchased Beacon.
Yeah.
What are you kind of feeling is happening there? I mean, these are big numbers that are going out. So there's got to be a big reason why these things are happening.
If that reason is, it's beyond me, to be honest with you. That's what I'm like. I'm still going to work. I still pour the coffee in the morning. These guys are going to do what they do at their higher levels. Maybe it affects me in how materials and pricing is going out now. Maybe there's not such a gap between. Maybe it might help me. When the more people buy these things, now there's no gap between the different distributors. It might level out. Might level out on the higher side, but at least it'll level out to where it's just a blanket of very close numbers for people. I don't really ever dive into that thought. Again, maybe I should, but I'm still cracking the roofing whip every day, trying to go and do what we do. That stuff hasn't crossed my path in where it's affected our day to day just yet. I don't really, it's like one of those things out of sight, out of mind. Like I watch TV and we watch government do the buffoonery and the making fun of each other on TV. To me, it's the same thing.
Right.
It's the same thing,
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that, but yeah, no, we'll watch the news and see what's happening, but I think they're all coming together for a big purpose, and we'll find out again where we fit in that puzzle. But until then, keep stacking the bricks, right?
Yeah, I hope that it within that movement, like other big moves, that there's the good is extracted and there's some kind of path to capture both needs, because the one is putting your money somewhere because let's reinvest in something else. Well,
Mhm.
you're going to want to make money with it. Not everybody's just going to want to dump it and suck everything out and try it on, move on. Eventually, somebody's going to want to see or will open up a path that's, wow, this is really working. Let's do this. The bad apples will always exist, but
Sure.
that path will probably open up, and just like the other industries, like you said, it's working for them. They're not failing. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. What about any advice to, let's go in reverse, because it sounds like, again, you're focused more so on commercial, and then you're starting to get into some residential, but there's some guys that are in residential and then trying to break into commercial. Like, what is your advice to those guys, and how they can get relevant and eat up some market share?
um, if so I was a little bit benefited by being already in commercial and going the other way around, and I said
Mhm.
the benefit is understanding the money flow. In a commercial project, they're almost all six-figure jobs. They're not that, I don't even look at it like it's a big number anymore, because the materials cost all this, everything costs all this. And residential, what are you going to put a house roof on? 10 grand, 20 grand? Like, oh
Mhm.
great, that's a big number for your average little cape, let's just say. So understanding the money flow is the biggest advice. Understand that your money flow is not going to come as fast as when Mrs. Smith is, house is done and you could go to her table and pick the check up. It's completely different. You got to wait for the banks to release. You got to wait for pay recs. You got to wait for other trades to catch up to you. Understanding the timeline of projects is a huge one, for when you're going from residential to commercial. The commercial to residential twist, I would say, the people game is different. You can sit at a boardroom and you can sit at an architect's office and you can have all these high level conversations that are almost collegiate in the air, and then
Mhm.
you're going to go back to Mrs. Smith's table. You're going to over explain it, and she's going to be like that, like that. You got to get down. You got to be a little bit more communicative on the human that you're dealing with, not
Sure.
so much your product. Obviously, share your product and share your processes, but it's a different way of attacking the customer and being more human about it and sharing your value. And the other one's a little bit more, you know, details. It's everything's in the spec, everything's laid out. Everyone wants to know our values and this and that, reflectivities. The homeowner just wants to know if you're going to be a great guy and get my job done and be done quickly.
That's right.
So that people game.
Yeah, the people game for sure. And yeah, I see lots of guys, and you're absolutely right. It's being able to balance that money and timing and all that stuff, where these guys really think they can do it and they get involved and it gets heavy pretty quick. And once it gets too heavy, you kind of crumble. So, um, but
It's not easy to balance those long pay period waits. There is a need to have that financial stability before you enter that space.
right.
That you can only pay Peter can only pay Paul so many times over before you know the empty hand is back to the other empty hand. You have nothing. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
mm.
All right. Well, let's leave the people with this. I mean, you're obviously running a great, successful business. You're out there networking a lot. You're out there working with a ton of clients. How do you balance home, work, life, all that good stuff?
I have a great wife now. She understands that who I am. You know, um, really just explaining what it is that I'm doing at home, and our compatibility just happened to be as though that she knows that she's down. She's in part of the business. She runs the all the books and is dealing with the accounting part of it. So
Okay.
she's quiet in the corner, running the money in out, trying to do that, and she knows I'm out here doing what I'm doing best. So it's a balance both in business and home. Yes, we do take it home. There is a time when we like, all right, turn the TV on, turn the phones off. Let's just chill. Sometimes it happens at 8, sometimes it happens at 11. So it does vary. But it's really the partners, the communication with the partner that I have that's been able to allow me to do what I do. It didn't always have that. This is not the first go around.
Okay.
So it didn't always happen that way. And it took me having that crash to better this next venture and the next journey in business and marriage. And it's tough. You know, these kids are young still. I got a teenager and I got a 4-year-old. So it's going to crash and everyone's going to have to go to their activities soon. It's already happening. I'm sure there's going to be a little stressor that comes from here and there, but we're a small family. Actually, there's no real extended families. It's just me and my wife and our just like real immediate. So it's all us. We're a tribe of Simpson right there, just knocking down what we can.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, thanks for joining us today. Definitely want to check in with you probably after the summer, have you back on so that we could talk about some of those milestones and those victories and celebrate a little bit together. I
would look forward to that very much so. And you got to teach me the swing too. We got to get in that. We got to get that course.
Oh yeah, I just got a fresh box today, so it's looking like 80 degrees on Saturday. Hopefully I can get out there.
I'm still the guy that's plucking them out of the woods. So I got a long way. I got a long way to go.
I love it. Yeah, no, we'll definitely find a tea time. But again, thanks for joining us today, and we'll get together soon.
I appreciate you very much, Lester. Thank you very much for having me. Always good chatting it up with you.
Likewise. Go kill that networking event. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, man.
Later.